Hello everyone, and a super warm welcome back to FluentUp English. Today, we are going on a grand adventure through time. We are going to explore the history of Islam in much more detail. Islam is a very important religion followed by many people all over the world, and its history is like a long and winding river, filled with fascinating events, important teachings, and amazing cultural achievements. We will take our time, speaking slowly and clearly, so you can really practice your English listening and learn a lot about this influential faith. Get comfortable, maybe grab a drink, and let's begin our epic journey into the long story of Islam. A very long time ago, in the lands of Arabia, which is in the Middle East, there was a famous city called Mecca. Mecca was a very important place. It was a center for people who traded goods, and people came from many different places with different beliefs. In this busy city, around the year 570 after the birth of Jesus, a special baby boy was born. His name was Muhammad. Muhammad grew up in Mecca, and even as a young person, people knew him for being very honest and trustworthy. He was a person of his word. As he grew older, he started to think deeply about the world and the people around him. He often liked to go to the quiet hills outside of Mecca. In these peaceful places, he would spend many hours thinking and praying. He was searching for deeper meaning in life. One day, when Muhammad was about 40 years old, something truly extraordinary happened. People who follow Islam believe that God, whose name in the Arabic language is Allah, chose to speak to Muhammad. This communication from God came through a magnificent angel named Gabriel. The angel Gabriel is believed to have appeared to Muhammad and told him a very important message. The message was that there is only one God, Allah, the creator of everything. The angel also told Muhammad that he was chosen by God to be his final messenger, a prophet for all of humanity. This incredible event is considered the very beginning of Islam. After this experience, Muhammad felt a strong responsibility to share this new understanding with the people of Mecca. He began to tell them that they should stop worshipping many different gods and instead worship only one God, Allah. At first, the message that Muhammad brought was not accepted by many people in Mecca. The society in Mecca had its own long-standing traditions and beliefs, with many people worshipping idols and visiting temples dedicated to these idols. They found Muhammad's call to worship only one God strange, and it challenged their old ways. The leaders of Mecca, who had power and influence because of the old religious system, were especially against Muhammad's teachings. They worried that if people stopped worshipping the idols, they would lose their power and their way of life would change. Because of this, Muhammad and the small group of people who started to believe in his message, the very first Muslims, faced a lot of difficulty and even unkind treatment in Mecca. For many years, Muhammad and his small community of believers in Mecca were strong and patient despite all the problems they faced. Their belief in the oneness of God and the divine messages that Muhammad received from God remained firm. These messages, which Muhammad recited and taught to his followers, were eventually written down in a sacred book. This book is the Quran, and it is the most holy book in Islam. Muslims believe that every word in the Quran is the direct word of God. It provides guidance for all aspects of a Muslim's life. After many years of facing more and more problems and even danger in Mecca, Muhammad and his followers made a very important decision. They decided to leave Mecca and move to another city called Medina. This journey, the Hijrah, is one of the most important events in the entire history of Islam. It was not just a simple move from one city to another. It marked a huge turning point for the early Muslim community, and helped Islam grow from a small group of believers into a stronger and more organized community. When Muhammad and his followers arrived in Medina, they found a much more welcoming environment. Many of the people in Medina had heard about Muhammad's message and were open to it. In fact, some people from Medina had already started to believe in Islam, and had invited Muhammad to come and live among them. These people, known as the Ansar, helpers, warmly welcomed the Muslims who came from Mecca, known as the Muhajirun, migrants. The Muhajirun and the Ansar formed a very strong bond and became a united community in Medina. In Medina, Muhammad's role became even bigger. He was not only a religious leader, guiding people in their faith, but he also became a political and social leader, helping to establish peace, fairness, and good order within the city. He helped to solve disputes and create a society based on Islamic principles of justice and compassion. The years that Muhammad and his followers spent in Medina were incredibly important for the growth and strengthening of Islam. More and more people in Medina and in the surrounding areas began to accept the new faith. It was during this time that many of the fundamental rules and ways of practicing Islam became more established. Muslims learned how to pray together in a structured way, they developed systems for helping those in need, and they deepened their understanding of their religion through the continued revelations that Muhammad received and taught. Medina became the first real Islamic society, where the teachings of Islam influenced all aspects of life. Over time, the relationship between the Muslim community in Medina and the people who remained in Mecca began to change. There were some disagreements and even battles between the two groups. However, after several years of conflict and negotiation, Muhammad and his now large group of followers returned to Mecca in a largely peaceful way. By this time, many people in Mecca had also come to believe in Islam. Muhammad showed great forgiveness towards those who had opposed him, which led even more people to embrace Islam. This peaceful return to Mecca was a very significant victory and solidified Islam's importance in its birthplace. After the death of Prophet Muhammad in the year 632, the responsibility of leading the Muslim community passed on to a series of important figures known as caliphs. These caliphs were close companions of Muhammad and were chosen to guide the growing Muslim community and to continue the work of spreading the message of Islam. They faced many challenges, but were instrumental in establishing the early Islamic State and ensuring the continuation of Muhammad's teachings. In a relatively short period after Muhammad's death, the influence of Islam began to spread rapidly beyond the Arabian Peninsula. Through a combination of military campaigns, trade, and peaceful interactions, Islam reached vast new territories. To the west, it spread across North Africa and into Spain. To the east, it extended into Persia, modern-day Iran, Central Asia, and parts of India. This expansion brought diverse cultures and peoples under the umbrella of Islamic civilization. It is important to remember that this spread of Islam was not always through war. In many cases, Muslim traders, scholars, and Sufi mystics traveled to new lands and shared their faith through their honest dealings, their wisdom, and their peaceful way of life. The clear and appealing teachings of Islam, which emphasized justice, equality, and the oneness of God, also resonated with many people in these new lands. As Islam spread and large Islamic empires began to form, major cities became important centers of learning, culture, and innovation. Baghdad, the capital of the Abbasid Caliphate, became a world-renowned center for science, philosophy, and the arts. Cairo, under the Fatimid Caliphate, was another major intellectual hub. And in Europe, Cordoba in Spain became a beacon of learning and a place where knowledge from different cultures was shared and advanced. Muslim scholars during this period made incredible contributions to fields like mathematics, including the development of algebra, astronomy, medicine, discovering new treatments and surgical techniques, and philosophy, preserving and building upon the works of ancient Greek thinkers. Many of the things we study and use today have their roots in the discoveries and advancements made during this golden age of Islamic civilization. Islam has a set of very important beliefs and practices that are at the heart of what it means to be a Muslim. These are usually called the 5 pillars of Islam, and they are like the strong columns that hold up the entire faith. Let's explore each of these pillars in a simple way. First, there is the Shahada*, which is the most important belief in Islam. It is the declaration that there is no God but Allah and Muhammad is his messenger. This simple sentence is the foundation of Islam. By saying these words with true belief, a person becomes a Muslim. It emphasizes the absolute oneness of God and the role of Muhammad as the final prophet sent by God to guide humanity. Second is *salat*, which means prayer. Muslims pray 5 times every day at specific times: before sunrise, at noon, in the afternoon, after sunset, and at night. When they pray, they face the Kaaba, which is a holy building in Mecca. These prayers are a direct way for Muslims to communicate with God, to thank Him, to ask for guidance, and to remember Him throughout their day. The prayers involve specific movements and recitations from the Quran. Third is zakat*, which is a form of charity. Muslims who have a certain amount of wealth are required to give a portion of it to help people who are poor or in need. Zakat is not just about giving money, it is also about sharing resources and ensuring that everyone in the community has their basic needs met. It is a way to purify one's wealth and to show compassion and care for others. Fourth is *, since isamtaiti sa and tamantaiti sam *. which is fasting during the month of Ramadan. Ramadan is a special month in the Islamic calendar. During this month, Muslims who are able to do so do not eat or drink anything from sunrise until sunset. This practice teaches self-discipline, patience, and empathy for those who are less fortunate and often go hungry. It is also a time for spiritual reflection and getting closer to God. Fifth is Hajj which is the pilgrimage to Mecca. If a Muslim is physically healthy and has enough money, they are expected to make this journey to Mecca at least once in their lifetime. The Hajj is a very important act of worship that brings millions of Muslims from all over the world together in one place. It is a powerful symbol of unity and equality among Muslims. Besides these 5 pillars, Islam also teaches many other important things, such as being kind to others, being honest in your dealings, treating everyone fairly, respecting your elders, and taking care of the environment. Muslims believe in the importance of strong family ties and a supportive community. The Quran and the Sunnah, the teachings and practices of Prophet Muhammad, provide guidance for Muslims in all aspects of their lives, from how to treat their neighbors to how to conduct business. Just like many other major religions in the world, Islam has seen the development of different communities and different ways of understanding and practicing its teachings over its long history. People may interpret certain aspects of the faith in slightly different ways, leading to the formation of various schools of thought and traditions within Islam. As we mentioned earlier, Sunni and Shia are the 2 largest branches of Islam. Their historical split goes back to disagreements about who should have been the leader of the Muslim community after the death of Prophet Muhammad. While both Sunni and Shia Muslims share the core beliefs and practices of Islam, they have developed distinct legal frameworks, theological interpretations, and ritual practices. There are also smaller branches and Sufi orders within Islam, each with its own unique perspectives and practices. It is really important to remember that Islam is a very diverse religion, with a rich tapestry of cultures and traditions around the world. Muslims come from every corner of the globe, speak countless languages, and express their faith in ways that are often influenced by their local cultures. This diversity is one of the beautiful aspects of the global Muslim community. In our world today, Islam is the 2nd largest religion, with more than 1 billion followers living in almost every country on earth. Muslims continue to live their lives according to the teachings of the Quran and the example of Prophet Muhammad. Islam plays a significant role in the lives of its followers, guiding their ethics, their social interactions, and their understanding of the world. Islam has also had a profound and lasting impact on the world in many different fields. We see its influence in beautiful art and architecture, in the rich traditions of literature and poetry, in the development of sophisticated systems of law and governance, and in the ongoing pursuit of knowledge and understanding. Muslim culture has contributed immensely to human civilization and continues to shape the world we live in today. So we have now taken a much longer journey through the fascinating history of Islam. We have explored its very beginnings in Mecca, the pivotal migration to Medina and the establishment of the first Muslim community, the incredible spread of Islam to many different lands, and the core beliefs and practices that are central to the faith. We have also touched upon the rich diversity within the Muslim world and the lasting impact of Islamic civilization. We truly hope that this more detailed listening practice has been both interesting and helpful for you in improving your English language skills. Learning about different cultures and religions helps us to build bridges of understanding and to appreciate the richness of our world. Islam is one of the world's major religions. It started in the 7th century in a place called Mecca, which is now in Saudi Arabia. Today, over 1.9 billion people follow Islam. They are called Muslims. Islam is a religion of peace, faith, and submission to one God, who is called Allah in Arabic. Let's explore how Islam began, how it grew, and some important stories from its history. Gimme. Islam began with a man named Muhammad. He was born in Mecca around the year 570. Muhammad was a kind and honest person. People in Mecca trusted him and called him Al-Amin, which means the trustworthy one. He worked as a merchant and traveled a lot. He was married to a woman named Khadija, who was a successful businesswoman. When Muhammad was 40 years old, something very special happened. He liked to go to a cave called Hira to think and pray. One night, in the year 610, an angel named Gabriel, Jibril in Arabic, appeared to him. The angel told Muhammad, "Read." Muhammad was surprised because he didn't know how to read. The angel repeated, Read in the name of your Lord who created. These were the first words of the Quran, the holy book of Islam. Muhammad was scared at first, but he told his wife Khadija about it. She believed him and supported him. She said, God will not let you down. Muhammad realized he was chosen as a prophet, a messenger of God. He started to receive more messages from God through the angel Gabriel. These messages became the Quran, which Muslims believe is the word of God. Muhammad began to share God's message with people in Mecca. The message was simple. There is only one God, Allah, and people should worship Him, be kind, and live good lives. He told people to stop worshipping idols, which were statues that many people in Mecca prayed to at that time. At first, only a few people listened to Muhammad. His wife Khadija, his cousin Ali, his friend Abu Bakr, and a few others became the first Muslims. They believed in Muhammad's message and followed him. But many people in Mecca didn't like what Muhammad was saying. The leaders of Mecca were powerful and rich. They didn't want to change their ways. They also worried that Muhammad's message would stop people from visiting the Kaaba, a holy place in Mecca that brought a lot of money to the city. The leaders of Mecca started to make life hard for Muhammad and the Muslims. They laughed at them, threw stones at them, and even hurt them. Some Muslims were very poor, and they suffered a lot. But Muhammad and his followers stayed strong. They believed in God and continued to pray and spread the message. The move to Medina. In the year 622, things became very dangerous for Muhammad and the Muslims in Mecca. The leaders of Mecca wanted to kill Muhammad. So God told Muhammad to leave Mecca and go to a city called Yathrib, which is now called Medina. This journey is called the Hijrah, and it's very important in Islam. The Islamic calendar starts from this year, 622. In Medina, people welcomed Muhammad. They heard about his message and wanted him to be their leader. Muhammad became not only a prophet, but also a leader of the community. He helped the people of Medina live together in peace. He made rules for everyone to follow, whether they were Muslim, Jewish, or from other groups. Laitalasan fi ti dara karalo. Laitalasan ki si dara karalo. Awama makos oralo. In Medina, the Muslim community grew stronger. More people became Muslims, and they built a mosque, a place to pray and meet. Muhammad taught people how to pray, how to give to the poor, and how to be fair. The Muslims in Medina worked together and supported each other. Life expectator, challenges and battles. Even though Muhammad and the Muslims were safe in Medina, the leaders of Mecca didn't stop causing problems. They wanted to destroy Islam. They attacked Medina several times. The Muslims had to fight to protect themselves. These battles are famous in Islamic history. Masayus Borkate fi Nawel. One important battle was the Battle of Badr, in 624. The Muslims were small in number, only about 300 people, but they fought bravely against a much larger army from Mecca. With God's help, the Muslims won the battle. This victory made the Muslims stronger and showed people that Islam was growing. Jahansi. Another famous battle was the Battle of Uhud, in 625. This time, the Muslims didn't win. The army from Mecca was too strong, and some Muslims made mistakes during the battle. Muhammad himself was injured, but he encouraged the Muslims to stay strong and trust in God. In 627, the Battle of the Trench happened. The leaders of Mecca and their allies attacked Medina with a huge army. Muhammad and the Muslims dug a big trench around Medina to protect the city. The plan worked, and the enemy couldn't enter Medina. After a long time, the enemy gave up and left. This was a big victory for the Muslims. Bahi, the return to Mecca. By the year 630, Islam had grown very strong. Many people in Arabia became Muslims. Muhammad decided it was time to return to Mecca. He gathered a large group of Muslims and marched to Mecca, but he didn't want to fight. He wanted to show peace. When Muhammad and the Muslims entered Mecca, they didn't hurt anyone. Instead, Muhammad forgave the people who had been against him. He cleaned the Kaaba of idols and made it a place to worship only Allah. Almost all the people of Mecca became Muslims after seeing Muhammad's kindness and strength. This event is called the Conquest of Mecca, but it was peaceful. It showed that Islam was now the main religion in Arabia. The teachings of Islam. Islam has 5 main practices, called the 5 pillars of Islam. Let's talk about them. 1. Shahada, faith. Muslims say, there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. This is the belief in one God, and Muhammad as his prophet. 2. Salah, prayer. Muslims pray 5 times a day. They face the Kaaba in Mecca when they pray. Prayer helps Muslims stay close to God. 3. Zakah, charity. Muslims give money to the poor. This helps everyone in the community and teaches kindness. 4. Sawm, fasting. During the month of Ramadan, Muslims don't eat or drink from sunrise to sunset. This teaches patience and self-control. 5. Hajj, pilgrimage. Muslims who can afford it go to Mecca for Hajj. They visit the Kaaba and follow special rituals. These practices help Muslims live good lives and stay connected to God. Stories from Islamic history. Islam has many beautiful stories. Let's talk about a few of them. Sölal, koboziketati, hemmalhutati. Shalmalhulanatati. Biki shalmalhulala hilatatis. The yi hilatatati. Bi'atta hasilalada had the story of Bilal. Bilal was one of the first Muslims. He was a slave in Mecca, and his owner was very cruel. When Bilal became a Muslim, his owner punished him. He made Bilal lie on hot sand and put heavy stones on him. But Bilal stayed strong. He kept saying, "One God, one God." Later, Muhammad and the Muslims helped Bilal become free. Bilal moved to Medina and became an important person in the Muslim community. He had a beautiful voice, and he was chosen to call people to prayer. This call is called the adhan. Bilal's story shows how Islam teaches equality and freedom. Nakol Tahi. The story of Khadija. Khadija, Muhammad's wife, was a very special woman. She was older than Muhammad and a successful businesswoman. When Muhammad told her about the angel Gabriel, she believed him right away. She was the first person to become a Muslim. Failal Abel assiste jahanta Allah sutaiti Allah in mon mahatuman ennana vismu'am. For the just supported Muhammad matwa Allah ama. For daliha tilian galani natal wa manale limilad salasilan. Malitania aljuro. She helped him when times were hard. Even when the people of Mecca were against Muhammad, Khadija stayed by his side. Her story shows the importance of family and support in Islam. Wautalara adala hamalea tamala. The story of the elephant. Before Muhammad was born, there was a famous story about the Kaaba. A man named Abraha, who was a leader from Yemen, wanted to destroy the Kaaba. He brought a huge army and many elephants to Mecca. The people of Mecca were scared because they couldn't fight such a big army. But something amazing happened. When Abraha's army came close to the Kaaba, birds carrying small stones appeared in the sky. The birds dropped the stones on the army, and the army was destroyed. The Kaaba was safe. Muslims believe this was a miracle from God. This story is mentioned in the Quran, in a chapter called The Elephant, the Spread of Islam. After Muhammad returned to Mecca, Islam spread quickly. Tribes from all over Arabia became Muslims. Muhammad sent letters to kings and leaders in other countries, inviting them to learn about Islam. Some accepted, and others didn't, but Islam started to reach places like Persia, Egypt, and Syria. In 632, Muhammad became very sick and passed away in Medina. The Muslims were very sad, but they continued to follow his teachings. Abu Bakr, Muhammad's friend, became the first leader of the Muslims after Muhammad. He was called the Caliph, which means successor. Under the first 4 caliphs, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and Ali, Islam spread to many parts of the world. The Muslims built a big empire, but they didn't force people to become Muslims. They let people follow their own religions, as long as they lived in peace. The Golden Age of Islam. From the 8th to the 13th century, Islam had a golden age. During this time, Muslim scholars, scientists, and artists did amazing things. They studied math, science, medicine, and astronomy. They built beautiful mosques and palaces. They translated books from Greek, Persian, and Indian languages into Arabic, so people could learn from them. In cities like Baghdad, Cordoba, and Cairo, there were big libraries and schools. Scholars like Al-Khwarizmi, who invented algebra, and Ibn Sina, who wrote books about medicine, became famous. The Golden Age showed how Islam encouraged learning and creativity. Islam today. Today, Islam is a global religion. Muslims live in almost every country. They speak different languages, eat different foods, and have different cultures, but they share the same faith. The Quran is still the same book that was revealed to Muhammad, and Muslims read it in Arabic. Oud al-Umfay. Islam teaches peace, kindness, and respect. Muslims pray, fast, give to the poor, and try to be good people. They celebrate holidays like Eid al-Fitr, which comes after Ramadan, and Eid al-Adha, which is during the Hajj. Conclusion. That's the story of Islam. It started with one man, Muhammad, and grew to touch the lives of billions of people. Islam is about believing in one God, living a good life, and helping others. We hope you enjoyed this listening practice and learned something new. The Constitution of Medina. When Muhammad arrived in Medina, he created an important document called the Constitution of Medina. It was a set of rules that helped different tribes and religious groups live together peacefully. Muslims, Jews, and other communities agreed to respect each other and work together to defend the city. Important battles, Badr, Uhud, and the Trench. After settling in Medina, Muslims faced many battles. Bifa Haubahama, Gulin Peti Forsala Emopishuragola, Jokoda Bigwi 7 Alaitika Achaula and Milatwa Abaske Yaka Hama, Muslims Kosei Paha Rahau Baha Ha Hama. One beautiful story from Muhammad's life is about forgiveness. When he finally returned to Mecca with thousands of followers, he forgave the very people who had hurt him before. He said, "No blame will there be upon you today. Allah will forgive you, and He is the most merciful of the merciful." Quran 12-92. This act of kindness touched many hearts, and more people accepted Islam. The farewell pilgrimage and Muhammad's last sermon. Shortly before he passed away, Muhammad made his last pilgrimage to Mecca, called the farewell pilgrimage. During this journey, he gave a famous speech known as the Last Sermon. He told people to treat each other kindly, respect the rights of women, and remember that all humans are equal, no matter their color or background. He said, "O people, your God is one, and your Father is one. An Arab has no superiority over a non-Arab, nor a non-Arab over an Arab." The growth of Islam after Muhammad. Uthman ibn Affan. He was the third caliph. He collected all the parts of the Quran into one official book, so that everyone would read the same version. From the 8th to the 13th centuries, the Islamic world entered a golden age. Great scholars made advances in science, medicine, philosophy, and the arts. Al-Kindi, known as the philosopher of the Arabs. Al-Farabi, wrote books about music, philosophy, and logic. Ibn al-Haytham made important discoveries in optics, the study of light. The Caliphate of Uthman and Ali. Uthman ibn Affan. He was the third caliph. He collected all the parts of the Quran into one official book, so that everyone would read the same version. Ali ibn Abi Talib. He was the fourth caliph. He was known for his bravery and wisdom. His time as caliph was very difficult because of civil wars. Babatatul is called Hitals, the golden age of Islam. From the 8th to the 13th centuries, the Islamic world entered a golden age. Great scholars made advances in science, medicine, philosophy, and the arts. Al-Kindi, known as the philosopher of the Arabs. Al-Farabi, wrote books about music, philosophy, and logic. Ibn al-Haytham made important discoveries in optics, the study of light. Stories of scientific discoveries. In Baghdad's House of Wisdom, scholars translated and preserved Greek, Persian, and Indian knowledge. They made their own discoveries too. Algebra, hospitals, maps, and even early versions of surgery tools came from Muslim scientists. Islamic beliefs and practices. Islam is built on 5 important things, called the 5 pillars of Islam. 1. Shahada, believing that there is no God but Allah and Muhammad is his prophet. 2. Salat, praying 5 times a day. 3. Zakat, giving to the poor. 4. Saum, fasting during the month of Ramadan. 5. Hajj, making a pilgrimage to Mecca at least once in a lifetime if possible. Muslims also follow the Quran and the Sunnah. The Quran says, "Indeed, Allah commands justice and good conduct, and giving to relatives, and forbids immorality and bad conduct and oppression." Quran 16-90. Important cities in Islam. Mecca, the birthplace of Muhammad and the place of Hajj. Medina, the city of the Prophet's mosque and Muhammad's burial. Jerusalem, the place where Muhammad made his night journey and ascended to heaven. Islam today. Today, Islam is the second largest religion in the world. Muslims live in every country. They celebrate Ramadan, fast during the day, and enjoy special meals with family at night. They celebrate Eid al-Fitr at the end of Ramadan and Eid al-Adha during the time of Hajj. Muslim contributions to the world. Muslims contributed to mathematics, medicine, astronomy, architecture, and literature. For example, the pointed arches in Gothic cathedrals were inspired by Islamic architecture. The message of peace. At its heart, Islam teaches peace, kindness, and respect for all people. The Quran says, "And the servants of the Most Merciful are those who walk upon the earth humbly, and when the ignorant address them harshly, they say words of peace." Quran 25-63. Thank you for listening to this long and detailed story about the history of Islam. We hope you enjoyed learning with FluentUp English today. Remember, learning a language is like taking a journey. Step by step, you will get better every day. If you enjoyed this lesson, please subscribe to FluentUp English for more listening practices. See you next time.